Today's video is all about PSA 9 prices. Now, this is something that for the last year has baffled me into oblivion on how one could even think this was an idea, or actually, if anyone actually thinks this is even remotely where the market is going to decide in the long run, I should say, then you're obviously just not in the realm of where collecting will go. You're just very close-minded. I'll show you some examples. I'll make my points in this video. There's a lot of different reasons as to why raw cards should not be at the same price point as PSA 9 cards. There's some personal examples I have that just through grading myself, I've only sent in 20 some odd cards. I think 20 potentially. I'll put up the exact number here up here maybe. And I've had a wide range of results just from sending in those small amount of cards into PSA. So I'll just give an example. I had some cards with dimples, surface dimples themselves, that I personally thought probably was at best a 9. And I just wanted to see what PSA was thinking on that particular card and that particular issue. Literally surface dimples. It had like 1, 2, or 3 of them. I think it was 2 on a Dalton Kincaid optic, something or other. I think it was optic pink prism rated rookie. I pre-graded it as a 9, sent it in with my other cards. It came back a 10. For that card personally to have received a 10 by any means is wild to me. It's definitely a rare occurrence, I would guess. A huge thing that, for me, why raw cards and PSA 9 cards should not be the same. I buy a ton of low-end raw cards. Here's some examples here of raw cards with a substantial issue on them. This card right here has a pretty decent print line, some surface flaws as well up here. I mean, I'll show more and more examples along the lines. These are cards that I buy and end up giving away. So whatever my buy cost is here on this card, I believe it probably was around 30 to 75 cents, depending on the deal I've done for that card. I'm guessing that one in particular was 75 cents. But look at this card here. Absolutely horrendous. People have sold me these cards. These are all cards that when I do my pre-checks on inventory and purchases I've done, that I'm just baffled on and cannot come to the foreground conclusion of selling this card. I know plenty of sellers who would completely feel okay and okay with passing along that card and this issue along as something that wasn't even there. If you would like to cash me out at PSA 9 prices for certain ones of these cards, man, please feel free to let me know. This one's a wild error card. I'm pretty sure it was something to do with a different card being almost like printed onto it as well. Something or the other with a press issue, but absolutely wild error card. If you want to cash me out for PSA 9 prices on some of these cards, feel free. I mean, that's an error card right there. This David Montgomery here, like, I'm just getting into just like, these are cards people have sold me and not, recognized as something that's not deemable of being sold. So it's not like when people sell raw cards, they're removing these from circulation. I technically am doing that slowly, but even then I give them away because for me, I need stuff to then give away. I need stuff to supplement that. I need to do something with these cards to then get them out. And I don't feel like assigning a dollar value to these cards. It's just not fair to my customers. For me, personally, like, look at this card. I'm pretty sure that if someone would want to cash me out on PSA 9 prices for that card in particular, I would accept that every single day of the week. I'll show some examples with Mr. Travis Kelce in particular here. His rookie cards, I believe, tops, just the base rookie card, put up some comps up here. Raw is going for about $25 right now, at least last I checked was, and I think the last sale was like 45 bucks. Might be the same as a Topps Chrome rookie card, which, you know, depending on if you like chromium stock or paper stock, it's just preference. I think chromium stock kind of has the upper hand there, depending on who you ask especially. But yeah, I think the chromium stock does. But you can see the comps here. They are pretty much, I want to say 2x, darn close to 2x the raw comps. And that's just for Travis Kelce. And that's particularly his rookie cards. But some cards just don't do that. I'm baffled by how anyone thinks it's a negotiation tactic for a card that you are interested in. And I say you are interested in because if you're using that as a negotiation tactic on a card that you're interested in, is trying to find the lowest raw comp on the last that's been sold in the last year. It's a true story. Literally just happened to me 2 days ago, pretty much like less than 48 hours ago. It literally had somebody interested in this card in particular. Red jersey number, Travis Kelce. It's a red color match for the Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes' rookie year. It's a PSA 9. Last I checked, it was a Pop 1, none higher. The person who was wanting to buy it from me literally had it in their idea that this card was raw comps. Quite literally. I think I kind of know where the idea behind his thought process was on which comp he used. I think it's because people don't also know how to use card ladder correctly. Not trying to say, but what he did was probably looked up Travis Kelce, National Treasures, red jersey number. Well, on comps or on card ladder, I was going to say ComC, but on card ladder, when you're looking up comps on cards, you want to be as broad as possible. So what I personally would recommend to anyone who's trying to look up comps on card ladder for a card, especially like this, where it's serial numbered, it's from a certain year, a set that is very popular, like National Treasures, and then a popular player as well, and has a unique name. If he had like Travis, let's just say Antonio Travis or something like that, and that was his name, might be a little bit harder to do exactly what I'm trying to say here. But what I do is I use their most unique name. So for Travis Kelce, that would be Kelce. I type in national, and I type in the serial number. So 87 out of 87. I don't even do the slash. I just type in 87. So I get every single card that was listed on, I think there's a couple different marketplaces that they use, eBay being a big one, Pristine Auctions, and then Golden, maybe some other ones. I think Fanatics. I think technically Fanatics bought Pristine Auctions. I'm not too sure on what the rundown is there, but pretty much for the most part, you can eliminate any golden sales unless if it's like a super high-end card, and Pristine Auctions or Fanatics thing, like, people don't use them. It's pretty much eBay comps only on card ladder. It's just more or less the record and database of, you get access to all comps older than 3 months on card ladder. So that is a very big advantage and helps out a ton. to find the true value of your sports cards. I have a whole video on how I use Card Ladder. Put up a screenshot up here, and that's still posted up on my channel if you're interested in that. But be as broad as possible on Card Ladder, because I think when he typed in Travis Kelce, National Treasures, red jersey number, the only comp that popped up for him. So the only comp that popped up for him was the lowest sale of this particular card in the last year, because he typed in, I'm guessing that's what happened, was he typed in Travis Kelce, National Treasures, red jersey number, and that would have been the only comp that popped up in the last year. He literally said the only thing I can find on it was this, and he showed me an $11.50 comp. If he would have known how to search up cards on Card Ladder and actually know how to comp cards, maybe his logic would have been differently. I don't know. I don't care. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, some of the people who are offering on cards right now, how their mind frame is I would really like this card, but I have to get it at, you know what I mean? I'll show you an example here of a card that I really liked, I really believed in. It's a PSA 9. Wow, it's a PSA 9. It's a card that if you want it, you're going to have to pay up for it because there's none graded in a 10. So if you want this card in its highest grade in PSA, you are going to have to pay up for it. I believe it's I think it was a pop 3, none higher, potentially. Might pop it up here. I didn't look up raw sale. I knew that it was a pop whatever, and I knew I had a price in mind that I wanted to pay. I paid the price in mind that I wanted to pay. It was nowhere near the last raw sale, I'll tell you that much. It's a card graded by PSA in a mint slab. It's not anything that I won't care about moving this card or not. Literally two absolute legends of the game. They have their podcast. One's dating probably, arguably, the most famous woman in the entire world. And technically it's a green color match for the Eagles. Didn't even think about that till just now. Numbered to 100, only 100 copies of these cards. If it's just a card I keep forever, I don't care. Again, with this one, this is a pop 1, none higher, red jersey number, Travis Kelce, Mahomes rookie year. A box of that is running 10 grand right now. I think you can, you can't really find any listed lower than 5 figures. So you get like 20 cards. Let's just do the math real quick. 20, 10, that's like, what? A good $500 per card. To have something that someone's not going to be so saddened by in the highest grade that there is right now, PSA 9, pop 1, none graded higher, that is nowhere near raw comps. I'll even show you, I'll give examples for his stuff in particular. I showed examples earlier. The $25 and then the $50 sales, that's about 2x what the raw thing is. And then also with this card in particular, I told him there was a PSA 8 sale, PSA 8 sale of this card that sold for $50. He just really insisted and was very much just trying to push this idea of that's just what PSA 9s do. And I'm telling you right now, for PSA 9s compared to raw cards, some cards do not do that. I'll show a very prominent example. The PSA 8, before I graded the 9, so that would have mean that that card was a PSA 8, pop 3, none higher. So back when there was no 9 that I had graded, sold for $50. Then I told him I'd show him the comp if that changes anything for him. He said, He didn't say anything. I showed him the comp. PSA 8 sold for $50. Pop it up here. And he said, it's just what the market's doing right now. The funny thing is that if he looked at the day on the PSA 8 sale, that was after his raw comp he was trying to buy it for. So if the market had ever so changed in the last year, which that's what the market, when people refer to that transaction being PSA 9 graded, PSA 9s that were same as raw, that has been the status quo, or whatever the heck you want to say, the common ideology for the last year to a year and a couple, like maybe like a month or so. The last year, 2024, that comp had happened, PSA 8 and the raw sale. So my question is that if the PSA 8 is 5 times more than the raw sale, obviously back then, what do you think the 9 is worth? Do you think the raw is the same as the PSA 9 when the 8 sold for, you know what I mean? So I genuinely asked him when he was offering me, does that make any sense to you to sell the PSA 9 on a Pop 1 non-graded higher at a fifth of the price that the PSA 8 sold for? And he literally again reiterated his own ideology of that's just what the market's doing. So I want to then ask you guys, why is a PSA 8 selling for 5 times higher than a raw, or now with the $15 and $20 sale afterwards that he couldn't find because he doesn't know how to comp cards, selling for about what, 2.5, a little bit over, depending on which comp you're looking for. If that is the PSA 8 sale, the last PSA 8 sale, and then the raw cards are selling for 2.5 times less than the 8, what does that make the 9? You know what I mean? Like, does that make the 9 2.5 times less than the 8? It doesn't make any sense, right? And then again, I'll reiterate why it makes no sense in the market right now is, does anybody want, and please, if PSA 9s are raw comps, please buy these cards from me at PSA 9 comps. I would be happy to sell them at that prices. These are cards that I don't see fit of selling. If someone wants to offer me PSA 9 comps, that would be amazing. I would be very, very much a happy man. If I could get $5, shoot, $5 a piece, that's pretty much what PSA 9s run for automatically, maybe even $2 a piece. I mean, that's $8 right here that I'd be super happy to get back. Anybody lining up to buy me out at this on all of these cards that are damaged and thus not able to be even something I'm okay with selling? No one's lining up to do that. If you are, please, really, feel free to message me. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong on my thought process here. Do you really want to buy that card? I bought this card from somebody. They passed it off to me as a copy that was sellable. Bought it, like, I would guess I put like $5 value into it. Something of the sort, or maybe $3. But do you think that's okay to sell? No, I don't. I mean, shoot, it's a raw copy. If raw is the same as PSA 9, I'll look up what a PSA 9 does of this one, and I'll put it on eBay and post it as... It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to anyone else. It doesn't make any sense to me, and... I'll tell you right now also, if anyone's curious, I paid $80 for this card. It's a PSA 9 Pop 3 none higher, I believe it was. I mean, obviously, could be a lot nicer, but... Or I could have, probably gotten a lot better of a deal if I, but I just wanted the card. It's another really nice Travis Kelce. Again, 2 first ballot Hall of Famers. They have their own podcast. He's dating the most... famous girl in the world, and he is a color match on the card too. And then here we go. Here's another example here. I bought this card here. Here's actually a really great example here. PSA 9 Christmas deck. This is from like Equipe de France. So I think this is like it's a slam deck Euro League basketball overseas game that they play, I'm guessing. I'm not too sure what this is from in particular. I mean, obviously it says on the slab, but I've never seen anything to do of this sort until I saw this card. Looked it up. Apparently there's only 2,000 copies of this card in circulation. The PSA 9 is like a pop 22. There's like 10 or so graded a 10. Depending on if this card's actually used and by its intended purpose, a slam deck, I'm guessing people slam stuff down, something of the sort. It's a game, right? So this card in particular, a PSA 9 in the long run, 2,000 copies, Victor Wembanyama. It's pretty much a pre-rookie card. It is pretty much a rookie card, though. 2023 rookie year. And it's in his France kit, his France jersey. Yeah, kits for soccer, but it's in his France jersey here. But I don't know, something like this can hold really good value if I don't get, you know, if I'm guessing, well, I'm into this card for 25 bucks. If I don't get, you know, 80 bucks on eBay, gets, you know, maybe 65 after, make 40 bucks on this card in particular, I'm okay with keeping it forever. It's a 2,000 limited copy, Victor Wembanyama. It's something you're not going to see. Only ones that are listed on eBay are overseas right now in France. I believe all the copies were. I'll potentially put some screenshots up. But, yeah, so if you want to pay it, technically, I guess we'd probably have a deal with France or something because of our national ties with them for so long, because the shipping from France to here is very cheap, at least for those listings. So, yeah, it's not like you're going to have to pay a wild, ridiculous amount for shipping, but $25 for this card. What would you guess is the comp of this card? Technically, there's probably around $20 comps raw, or I don't know what the last one is. I think maybe even higher than what the lowest lists are. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'll put up some comps up here on the Christmas deck, but I know for a fact that the PSA 10 of this card last sold for $42. Directly after that PSA 10 sale, I will say this, the 9 sold for $47. So if the 9 is the same as the raw, that means that all the raws should sell out at $47, right? Well, technically not, because you can see the market is, and then why would the 10 sell for lower than the 9, or why would the 9 sell for higher than the 10? You know, it just doesn't make any sense when people try to. There are certain cards that 9s just don't have the same as raw comps. I have another example up here. Donrus Elite from this year, technically probably potentially more years as well. Let me try to find it real quick. Let me see here. I don't know if I have it still or not. Sorry. Okay, I do. This is a pop 3, none higher, last I checked. All of these Donrus Elite cards have a bottom left corner ding here. So when you try to buy these cards and grade them, you pretty much are always limited to a 9. That'll probably always be the highest grade for these Donrus Elite parallels, is this PSA 9. All that means is that there's nothing else majorly wrong with the card, right? So if you really like these Donrus Elite parallels and you see 9s for, you know, ridiculously cheap, you might want to pick some up, because these are such beautiful cards. That is one of the only, if not the only issues, is this little bottom left issue there on the card. And eventually what might happen is they recognize that issue as being across the board on Donrus Elite parallels for that year, and then they'll change their grading standards for this set in particular. Certain things might happen in the future, but for now, they haven't, I don't think, and this is a PSA 9, pop 3, none higher. So, yeah, it's color match for Tank Dell and the Texans. Just certain things like that. I'm not going to sell this card for raw comps because there's no graded cards in a higher slab. If we were talking, let me just grab something out from here. This is last little thing. This is a sale that didn't happen. Payment didn't go through on the Whatnot stream, but Optic Grader rookie Jaden Reed. Now, let's say you send in this card for grading. It comes back a PSA 9. Sure, I mean, this is a mass-produced card, probably in the millions of cards that are produced and printed. Am I saying that this card should be higher than a raw? I mean, depends on the raw copy. If it's going to be one of these that you should never even try to sell, like this dimple here on the Justin Jefferson rookie, you know what I mean? Like certain things, right? If it has like a wild flaw, then no, it shouldn't be the same as raw. If it's going to be one that has a good shot at a 10, then sure, why not? Same as raw, but then even then, like, you know, like it doesn't make any sense to grade some cards, in particular like the Optic Grader rookie base. Like technically, depending on, you know, if it's PC or you're in it, but even then, I was gonna say in it for the long haul. Even then, for some of these ones, they're so mass produced and over graded that it almost doesn't make any sense to get them graded. I was just looking at like Tyreek Hill, for example. His base Optic Donrus rookie is going for like $25 raw. I'm not too sure what the 10 is going for compared to the 9 even, or like all that, but certain things like that. There was also a lot less printed back then, and the years, as time has went on, more people have gone to understand the values of cards technically sometimes, whether that be from the actual manufacturers themselves or just people in general not taking care of their cards. There are still some that then get damaged and thus are not even close to gem worthy anymore. And again, if you would like to buy these at PSA 9 values on every single one of these cards, any single one of these cards, please let me know. I will send this to you plain white envelope, and these cards will be yours at PSA 9 prices. I mean, shoot, I'll even do 75% of PSA 9 prices for all of them. If you bought all of them in one, I do that. I do that in a heartbeat. Anybody lining up? Let me see. I'm just going to glance into the future. I can't really do that, but I'm guessing nobody is going to line up to do that. So anyone who actually believes PSA 9 is raw comp, buy these from me. If not, then you're proving yourself wrong, and that's my case there. It makes no sense at all. In some cases, obviously, I'm talking more or less like instances like this. I'm not talking grade your random Jaden Reed, Optic Donrus Raider rookie from the newest class, and then PSA 9 could be raw comp. Sure, argue that with me, but not on a PSA 9 pop 1 none higher with a PSA 8 sale that's 5 times what you're even trying. You know what I mean? Like, your starting negotiation tactic is 5 times less than what the PSA 8, a lower PSA graded slab, sold for. It just save us both the time and hassle, and don't even offer on a card like that. I'm telling you right now, you are going to never, unless if somebody is absolutely new to cards and what have you, and even then it's just very unethical to even try to walk away with a card like that. Again, this card sold, you know, I'm sure there's raw comps in the $30 range. I paid $80 for it. This one, that PSA 10 sale kind of scared me, so wanted a little bit more room. And the guy kind of seemed to be really needing a sale, and the slab's all scratched up too, but yeah, so wanted a little bit more room there because of that PSA 10 sale. But yeah, again, I'm okay with keeping all of these cards. Again, they all have significance in the 9 slab there, and significance in the card themselves there as well. But so yeah, I'm gonna get going on this video, and I hope I see you in the next one. Take it easy and have a good one.